The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. I'm your host Sean Grammer, and we are the official video games podcast of 41mania.com and of course W2Mnet.com, which is our home, where you can find reviews by Marc over here, reviews by other writers, and of course whatever else is striking our fancy in football, games, and whatnot else. So, Marc, how's it been?
Sorry, you're like cutting in and out. Howdy.
Oh, it's one of those lovely times on Skype with one of us cutting in and out.
Getting better now.
Well, I should say this is about like 3:15 in the morning while we're doing this, so Skype may not work at that great at this hour. But
all the British people are using it right now.
yeah, damn those British people. But you have been playing some games, so.
Yep. I reviewed BioShock, the remastered collection, which I then sold, which I'm pretty pumped about.
How much did you get for it?
$25 in store credit.
That's not bad.
But it wasn't to a GameStop. I sold it to a store up here called Disc Replay, and I got a super stupid and expensive DVD set of Star Wars.
Not bad, not bad.
It contains the not special edition version of Star Wars on DVD. So that was $100.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
Save
also,
yourself $75. That's good.
Yeah. Also, well, like 80 because of tax.
Ah.
But I've been playing a little WWE 16, which you find probably funny.
Yes.
A game called Crime Secrets Crimson Lily on Steam. It's a hidden adventure game, so you don't care. No one else does except for me and like two other nerds. And I actually did play a little of God Eater 2 on Steam. Only like a half hour, though.
What do you think of God Eater 2, sorry?
Yeah, he just kind of trailed off. I was like, did he gonna finish his thought? Or it's fine. Like it really plays well on my computer, which I'm happy about. But they throw you into it, man. Like, just like go read the glossary for like what you understand. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, this is like a 100-page manual or something. Like, no way.
Yeah.
And they're throwing like it's so self-serious, like all the blood arts and all this God Eater stuff, and just like, yeah, or it's just Monster Hunter. I mean, that's fine. But
yeah,
like,
it does not. It does not. It gives you a tutorial, but it's like.
Oh yeah, that's pretty useful actually. But I just mean like, yeah, it's just so self-serious and so like overtly complicated to me. Like, it's just, I mean, it's easy to just pick up and play like on a basic level. But if you want to like get good at it, it's like holy crap.
Lot to learn.
Yeah, I've only played like an hour of it at max, or 55 minutes exactly. So there you go.
I probably played about the same amount of Dragon Quest VII for 3DS. It's Dragon Quest VII, so if you've never played Dragon Quest VII, it actually came out of Dragon Warrior 7 here in the US for PS1. It was on 2 discs. Thankfully, it's only on 1 cartridge here. I mean, it's very old school in the way it does RPGs. So, well, yeah, I'm still only with the one person in your party because I'm still like in I think like the second city that you ever get to. I mean, I've had like this one girl that goes in and out of your party, but that's about it. And I fought like a few monsters, so I haven't really gotten into like the battle stuff. It's mainly just the kind of first part of the story and getting to fool around with the buying stuff in the shops and whatnot. So hopefully, since I'm gonna be on a plane and also probably gonna have quite a bit of downtime with what I'm doing and with why I'm going having to take a week trip to Dallas. Hopefully I can get some more playtime with it. It is a very long game, so if you're one of those people that don't have time, don't even bother with your $40 because this is about a 75-hour game. If you know where you're going at all times, if you want to do everything, it can go up to like 200 hours. So just let you know.
Just don't lose your 3DS or forget it in a car or anything when you're out there.
Yes, I won't have to. I'm not renting a car this time, so it's just making sure that I keep it in my bag, and then if I leave it somewhere, I'm only leaving it at my dad's house where I know where it is. Yes, if I think I told the story, but if this your first time listening, last time I went to Texas, I had to rent a car and I accidentally left the 3DS on the counter at the rental car place, and they happened to find it, thankfully, because if not, I would have been out some big money that I spent on my 3DS. So,
I'm,
go
I'm
ahead.
letting you know I may drop out for a second. I'm not quite sure why or when that'll happen, but just a fair warning.
Alrighty.
Skype literally just crashed on me, but it's still going for some reason. So that's always good.
That's always nice. Skype crashes.
Yeah.
So usually the Skype will make a little sound, so hopefully I can tell when you crash when it if it takes you off at all.
Yeah.
So seriously, there hasn't really been a whole lot of like just big news since last time we did a show, but there has been this thing that's kind of been on the interwebs, specifically like social media and that type of thing, especially with the presidential debate that's starting on Monday, and then they're kind of kicking into high gear with this presidential election, with Palmer Luckey funding this, was it Nimble America, that's sort of their entire existence of being is to basically smear Hillary Clinton in negative ways with stories and weird pictures of her. And this seems like something that I don't know. You'd think that would be dumb or you would at least do your research a little bit before deciding to donate money.
Well, some of his like excuses were like, "Oh, I didn't know what they were doing." He literally said like, "I thought it would be funny," or "I thought it would be a good joke," or his exact quote was "a jolly good time." And it's like,
Wow.
you're the reason people hate rich people right now. You realize this, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes across as like a total like spoiled prick. And things have come out from his past that have not made him sound good either. So
what's coming
yeah.
from his past? Because I've only seen some articles from other, from journalists and other developers that don't think of him very highly right now.
Well, two good things. The first was, I think he said in a post on Reddit, which is always where you want to get your official biography information from. He said he was like, he came from nothing. Like that was an exact quote from him. And then I read on his like biography, like on Wikipedia, which you can never say if that's correct or not, but it was like sourced in an interview. He literally was raised by his mom and dad. His dad was like I think an engineer or like something like that, but his mom homeschooled him. He took sailing lessons as a kid, and he was building quote like tens of thousands of dollars worth of computers.
Wow.
I don't know about you, but my childhood was not like that. I'm betting yours wasn't either.
Well, I'll be honest. My childhood wasn't bad, but I didn't take sailing lessons, and even if I did, I'm pretty sure my dad would have let me know how much money that would have cost because it wouldn't have been cheap.
Yeah.
And if you're building that much money in computers, there's no way you come from nothing. Not to mention engineers make some good money.
And the other good part was, he said that, like, he's a self-made man. Like, that was part of his creed on Reddit, was like, oh, well, part of this, the whole, like, I came from nothing. It was like, I built this company myself, or I built whatever. And it's like, no, you turned a fucking Kickstarter. Like, they built it. Like, you came up with it, but they funded your ass to get it over the finishing line,
Right.
dude.
Facebook
Like,
also, helped. It's just. Go ahead.
it's just the whole, like, conservative mentality, like, oh, I did it myself. And it's like, no, you didn't. If you were on a desert island with no one else around, and you somehow came up with a way to, like, create free energy out of a coconut shell, then yes, you created it by yourself. If not, you had help somewhere along the line.
Right.
Either friends, family, the state, investors, somewhere,
Especially with something like that where you directly had people help you make that happen. It's not like you saved up your money and you bought the company and you started funding this thing in-house, whatever. These people helped this happen.
Well, like, he came up with, like, I think he said he was repairing iPhones as a kid, or, like, iPods. And it's like, that's I'll give him credit, that's like an enterprising little business for a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not building, like, a VR company, or, like, I think that one of the things I saw was, like, if John Carmack didn't come around when he did, Oculus wouldn't be anywhere near where it is now.
Oh, that's true.
He's the whole guy who came up with, like, the motion tracking part of the thing in the first place. So it's like, well, if you deduct him from the equation, where would Oculus be? It would just be
Didn't they get into some kind of suit with Carmack, or like they tried to get him to not leave? I mean,
that's ZeniMax.
Yeah.
ZeniMax has said that, or claimed that Carmack stole, like, a bunch of their VR code or something, or like code, but it's like, what VR helmet are you guys making? Like, it's not like you guys are coming out to market with something. Like, even if he did, like, where's your product, or what? Like, it's not like you're coming out the VR helmet tomorrow. You have no helmet to begin with.
Right, but some people just like to have the patents, and they may not want to come out with the product now. They might do it to come out with the product later.
But, like, if Carmack didn't come along, and I'm not saying if he stole the code or not, I personally probably think he didn't. He may have worked on it at ZeniMax, but I don't think, like, he was pretty divested even at the time, like, even before then, of, like, ZeniMax or id Software. But if he didn't come around, Oculus would be a fucking glorified Viewmaster, and that's about it.
Yeah, lots of things that Palmer Luckey owes his success and the success of the VR and Oculus and everything else. Let's be honest. Facebook as well, buying in is just, that helps a lot.
One of the other good things he said was, like, VR is gonna, like, the Oculus is gonna be great for poor people because they can escape their, like, pathetic lives. And it's like,
yeah, what poor people are gonna be able to afford that?
Yeah, it's like most well-to-do people can't fucking afford your stupid headset right now, dude. Like,
yeah, wow.
So yeah, he says now he's not a Trump supporter, but there's literally video of him at a Trump rally, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, no, like, just be honest and say, hey, I'm a conservative and I don't like Hilary Clinton. I mean, there was nothing wrong with that. Look, we're not here trying to promote one over the other or whatever.
I am.
Personally, I don't really care for Donald Trump either, but I'm just saying, like, I don't really care for Hillary either, but I'm just saying,
I think it's one thing if you want to give money to the candidate, like the $2,500 max donation fee, like, that's
right.
I don't agree with it personally with Trump, but that's fine. But to literally come up with a company to make the internet a worse place, that's fucked up to me.
Yeah, it's not like we needed more companies out there making memes and making fake stories and everything else. The companies already there kind of do that enough.
Yeah.
But,
And these VR companies that have said screw you to Oculus while he's still there, Today Labs and Polytron, good on them. I completely don't blame them.
yeah, I'm glad that they're doing that. People are standing up for that. You know,
And
it's.
I honestly don't think he'll be around for that company for much longer.
I mean, and then it's just like what you said. You know, how out of touch are you to understand with all the things that are going on right now? For you to say something like, "Yeah, these poor people, they're just going to be able to afford a $1,500 computer just to buy this $600 device to be able to use it, so that they don't have to think about what they're doing right now." Like, it's just, what? Who's going to do that? If you can barely afford to put food on the table, that's okay.
Yeah.
That,
So,
whatever.
yeah, that's the big story. And a lot of people, at least on Twitter that I follow, have been like, I won't touch an Oculus right now, or ever while he's there. And it's like, I wouldn't either.
I did see you getting into it with a guy that was totally supporting Palmer Lucky, though. That was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, let me see if I can dig that up. It was great.
I just saw the one interaction there. You guys had more than that one.
No, that was about it. But I think the guy was just he's completely right, and he said something really stupid. It was just great.
The dude has great ideas. I support him. Something in that vein. Eh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on from that, there is the gains for gold for October announced, which, of course, starting October 1st to the 30th, you can get Super Mega Baseball and The Escapist, October 16th and November 15th for Xbox One, and MX vs. ATV Reflex, October 1st to the 15th, and I Am Alive through 16th to the 30th for Xbox.
That's
Well,
a real winner.
shouldn't it be to the 31st? Because there's 31
Maybe
days.
that's the site I saw. I may have got it
Wow,
wrong.
that's whoever you got this from apparently doesn't know how to count the days in October. So they're forgetting that Halloween counts as part of October, I'm guessing. So yeah, but I mean, Super Mega Baseball. I know you have it on Steam. So,
And 360, or
and
no
360.
PS4. Sorry. Yeah, it's a good game, and so is The Escapists. Not on. I don't like it much on Steam because there's no controller support, but
Right.
it's a fun game. If you want to escape from prison.
I've heard mixed things about I Am Alive. I've never personally played it,
Ooh,
so I can't say.
I haven't played it, but I have no intention to. I've heard it's terrible. It was supposed to be this whole big. It's supposed to be Left Behind, The Last of Us before that game came out. This whole big epic game where you're exploring these dead cities and you're on your own and supplies are limited. And it went through so many design problems and development problems that it became a downloadable game. And it's that's a good market quality right there.
Yeah, that lets you know right there. Speaking of market quality, I can tell you that Forza Horizon 1 is a pretty damn good game, and now we might know why it was part of the gains for gold, because it will soon be delisted on October 20th, so about 3 weeks from now, or a little bit more than that. You need to be paying attention if for some reason you've always been interested in this game and you don't have Xbox Gold to get it for free last month. It's going to be not available on the 360 Marketplace, so the only way you're going to be able to buy it is if you find it in the store. And
Yeah.
that's going to be hard to do.
So. It's probably some rights issue with some car manufacturer or something, because I don't think they would delist it if it wasn't if it was something else.
Right, yeah,
Like
because it's a Microsoft product.
it's not like Horizon 3 came out and they're like, all right, get rid of the first one because it's still the best one or something, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But you also miss the DLC as well. So if you have the game, if you did get the Games for Gold version, and you wanted to check out some of the DLC, you have till October 20th to do so, at least digitally. For the DLC it'd have to be digitally because I doubt that people are just bringing back unused physical little cards for Forza Horizon 1 DLC anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, make sure you're looking for that. Also, Shovel Knight.
How much do you play of it?
I played a couple of races. That's
okay.
not as much. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Love me some arcade racing. Much better than playing the regular Forza.
It has all the simulation stuff, or most of it, if you want to get into deep into that. But a lot of it's just not needed, or it's just hidden. So
yeah, that's what I liked about it.
Very good blend of arcade and simulation.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It wasn't too much of one or too much of the other. And so I was like, okay, I can get into this. Good.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight, everybody's or a lot of people's favorite little indie darling, is going to make an appearance in Yooka-Layle when that comes out. So if you're a big fan of Shovel Knight, don't know if that means he's just guesting and you're going to unlock him, or he's going to be DLC, or what it is, but he's going to be in that game. So I think he's actually, never mind, he is an NPC. So I mean, that's cool. I like Shovel Knight.
You know, in the original Banjo-Kazooie, they had the Witch Doctor to give you spells. That'll be Shovel Knight.
What? So Shovel Knight's gonna give you weapons?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Other than that, we have, what is this? Iceland is not in FIFA 17. They did well in Euro 2016. Of course, Euro 2016 was the first Euros that had 24 teams in it. So that gave Iceland the ability to be in a Euro that they probably wouldn't have been in otherwise. They did really well in it. And then EA lowballed them when it came to being in FIFA. So they said, well, screw this. We are not taking your $15,000. We want more. And we'll just show up in PES 2017 instead. So I guess those Icelandic people won't be able to play with their international team.
I kind of actually see EA's point on this, because it's not like Iceland was a big soccer sensation beforehand.
Right, and that's not like you're playing through their story either.
Yeah.
So you're still just playing as a team.
Yeah, you just want to get their name, their colors, and maybe the teammates, like last names, and that's it, or the players. But yeah, it's like, who gives a fuck about Iceland? Except for this year or last year, because they did well. Or was it this year? I don't even know. But
it would be this year, yes.
Okay, yeah, but it's not like they blew the roof off in the World Cup or anything, or
Right, and I mean that's the thing too. It's like when you're playing FIFA, you're not playing necessarily to play with the international teams. You're playing to play with the Manchester Uniteds and Barcelonas and all that stuff. So
they'd be like if the Detroit Lions suddenly won the Super Bowl and then said, no, we're not going to be part of it. We want more money to be in Madden. It's like, no, because no one cared about you guys before, and no one will ever again.
I don't know if that's necessarily the same.
Yeah, because it's a whole it's a whole organization player.
What I would say is it's more like if you have this whole core of a game, and then you have this small little extra mode. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the main part of the game is made by different people than the people that make the extra mode, and the extra mode people want more money all of a sudden.
Yeah.
and like nobody's hardly gonna play with it. So it's like, why are we gonna give you more money? Like, our game is not going to suffer because you're not in this, you know. And I mean, that's the thing. It's like either you take the money or you don't. And thankfully for Iceland, people in Europe still buy PES. So, Star Wars, the RPG, the action RPG Uprising, is shutting down on November 17th, 2016. It was supposed to be it launched in September 2015, so a year ago, to be a bridge between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Kabam, of course, it's a indie developer, obviously not making enough of a, whether it's revenue or just not having enough players to make it to where they can keep going with the game. So,
I mean, it's both, but also like Disney's just not making games anymore. Kind of period. Like they shut down those Marvel games, and Star Wars is next, and they'll sell Star Wars in perpetuity probably to EA as long as they keep making games, and hopefully they sell like Marvel to someone good, and that's about it.
Yeah, just please don't sell it to Activision.
I mean, you could bitch, but like Activision did pretty well with like Spider-Man back in the day. Like,
I just hate that if Activision has it, that means they're gonna make a zillion Spider-Mans, and then it's gonna become. But like, why are we so excited for the Spider-Man that's coming out right now? Right? Because it's been a while since we had a Spider-Man game.
Not really. So, one came out 2 years ago.
Right, but still, even the 2 years, like, that's still something compared to like having a yearly Spider-Man game, and they just constantly keep deteriorating. You know.
I mean, say what you want about Activision, but at least they were better than Sega. Like Sega made, I think, Iron Man, Captain America, and Iron Man 2. And
like, those are terrible. Yeah.
Captain America is like passable, but it's not like what you would call a great game. And Iron Man 1 and 2 were no. So I would rather like Activision like bilk the franchise than Sega like fumble it, you know?
I will say, you know, they did, I mean, with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games and the X-Men game that 2 X-Men games were sort of like the same thing.
Yeah.
And Legends. Even that X-Men movie game was actually pretty good. So.
Or like that Wolverine game was good, or I mean, it's what you want out of a Wolverine game.
Right, exactly. And most of the Spider-Man games were good, so not.
Except for the last 2.
Yes. Well, is it? I know I reviewed one for the 360. Might have been the last one. I don't remember minding it too much.
I really hated that one. It was Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because he had 50 costumes or 40 costumes, and they all did different shit, but you all had to level them up individually.
Oh, yes. I remember that part.
And it's like, fuck this.
And it also copied a lot of stuff from, like, Batman, and it was so obvious.
Yeah, like, the whole, like, counter system and even stealth. It's like...
Well, like, the Spidey sense thing. It was just like, okay, I get it. Spider-Man has some things that are similar, but it's just like, whoa. Alright, guys.
I also really hated the, building, or, burning buildings in that game. Like the
and then also just the different locations you had to go to were not.
Yeah.
They were not well realized either. So there's a Street Fighter V patch that you need to be careful if you're getting it on PC, because it will introduce like backdoors and stuff for that hackers can get into. And there's some hackers that have installed rootkits and been able to access computers with it, to the point where Capcom had to pull the patch down. So just be careful that you have the one that's not broken.
Yeah, oops.
Come on, Capcom, pay attention.
Nothing has gone right with Street Fighter V. It's depressing when you think about it.
Have they still not released that 1 hour story thing?
No, they did, but it wasn't like great. Like, and I think it was even like compared to even Mortal Kombat, it was like really half-assed.
Well, that seems about right.
Like they literally just patched in, like, this patch added the ability to play against the CPU, like in just a straight versus match.
What?
And I was like, the fact that was not in there from the goddamn start, like, speaks volumes for that game.
Like, seriously, how hard is it to put? Oh god. Like, seriously, how hard is it to put a versus?
It had survival, but it's like that's not the same thing. And I don't know about you. I don't like survival in fighting games. You don't play fighting games that much, like, either way. But
right. No, I'm not gonna play survival because I suck at them. So
yeah, I'm good at like Persona 4 survival, like the arena game. But that's about it. And it's like, yeah, I don't particularly like survival mode at all. So it's online or that's it. And the problem with Street Fighter V is they catered to the hardcore fighting crowd and blew off everyone else. And it's like, well, that's the game you get, I guess.
Right, yeah, and then they get upset when it's not the, like, just all-star getting all these great reviews and people are just buying it left and right because, you know, you give people a half-ass game, you're going to get that.
Yeah, at this point, you could... What they did with Street Fighter 4, I mean, you could debate if it was good or not, but they desperately need a, like, Super Street Fighter 5 add-on to, like, actually fix all of that game's issues. And wipe away some of that slate. And charge, like, $30 for it, not 60, because...
They can do that without having to... It's just make an expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Rock Band's doing in about 2 or 3 weeks. So,
well, that's what all that's what all the Street Fighter 4 things were. Like, Super was an expansion, Arcade Edition was an expansion, Ultra was an expansion. It's like, yeah, but they just need to do so much more with this game that they either don't care or they don't think they need to.
Right.
So, it's on them.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to release it physically. You can sort of let people know that it's going to be a digital thing or include a reason for it to be there physically. But, you know, it's on them, of course, what they decided to do there. Rhode Island has finally decided to settle with Curt Schilling over the loan that he took out for 38 Studios, making Kingdoms of Amalur, and, of course, the MMO Project Copernicus that never came out. It's not been approved in the courts, but at least that means we're done talking about this.
Remember in a second above about Palmer Luckey not giving credit like to little people? This is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, Curt Schilling gets... I mean, he's in here for the wrong reasons, obviously, but, like, you never hear about any of the people that actually tried to make that game or anything like that. I
just don't like it. Like, he rants. If you ever heard Schilling, like, nowadays, he, like, rants about, like, the government, how it's too big, and all this. I think
that's
really
part
weird.
of it got him canned from ESPN or whatever he was doing.
Yeah, he was doing, like, racist memes against Hilary Clinton, and it's like, hello? But it's like, your company was funded by the goddamn government. Like... If they didn't step in the first place, granted, your life has fallen apart because you couldn't run a business at all. Would expect you're a baseball player, but they gave you the shot and you didn't take it correctly, so it's on you, bud.
Right, and this is why you have to be very careful about what you invest in, and if you don't know what you're doing, get somebody that does. Or don't invest.
The funniest part really is let me see if I can find it. So let's see. So Schilling rants against the government, and he's a conservative, Republican, and the guy who cut the loan against 38 Studios was a Republican. That's what you just call karma.
Wow. Just sad. But hey, like you said, got it back. So moving on to stuff that is not games. Well, actually, there's one that does involve games. As the Fruit Ninja movie actually has a deal with New Line, so they can make a Fruit Ninja movie. What?
Yay.
Why?
If Angry Birds got a movie, this has a shot.
What do you? What are they gonna do? Like, just we're gonna have a competition of how many people are gonna chop all the fruit? Like, okay.
I think it'll just be like a guy becomes this new chef and doesn't cut food to the traditional way. He uses his hands, and he becomes a star from that or something. I mean, plug in any of the available 8 stories in Hollywood, and they could bang out a movie pretty easily. It won't be good, but they could do it.
It just sounds. So I think there's actually a synopsis that they have right now. Just I can't find it right now, so I'm not going to go crazy looking for it. But
The synopsis is basically The Last Starfighter, but instead of arcade machine against space pirates, it's Fruit Ninja.
there you go. You heard it first, right here. So Peter Capaldi is going to show up in the Doctor Who spinoff. The Class comes out in the UK on October 22nd. Don't know if they're going to simulcast it here on BBC America or not. But are you excited for the Class?
Not really, because none of the Doctor Who spinoffs have done great. Like Torchwood was really hit or miss. Sarah Jane Adventures was kind of the same. It was better, but it was still kind of weird because they had really weird cast shifts in the show. So yeah, this may do okay, but I doubt it. They're really pushing for a Buffy. This is going to be a British version of Buffy type of show, and it's or you could just make something unique in yourself.
Right, they've done really well with. Oh God, why can't I think of the name right now? The one with the clones.
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking of
Whatever,
robots, but that's not it.
The Tatiana Maslany show.
Oh, Orphan Black.
Yes, done really well with that show. She's getting Emmy nominations.
Well, I mean, win.
Yeah, and I liked the Atlantis show. Okay, it wasn't the best thing ever, but they've had some weird ones, obviously, but not everything's going to be a hit. But you're right. I'm kind of one of these. I'm stepping my 2 feet in the toes in the water. I'm not totally on board with it.
I mean, I'll watch it. I'll watch it past his episode because he'll obviously elevate the show. So, the second episode will be more interesting to see what the actual dynamic of the characters will be like and everything like that.
Right.
Because I think even Matt Smith popped up in Sarah Jane Adventures. Or it might have been David Tennant. Yeah, David Tennant. He popped up in that show once or twice.
Yeah, of course it always helps for the Doctors to come in there and make it feel like it is part of the... Because people may see this and not understand that it might not be part of the same universe. John Heder, of course, known more to people as Napoleon Dynamite. He's going to be in Power Rangers as Alpha 5. Well, I like his voice, I guess, so...
I'm more fascinated by that movie by the weeks.
Yeah, the people that keep adding here is just... Alright.
Well, it's just funny to me, they cast, Elizabeth Banks as Rita, and, what's his name? Bryan Cranston as Zordon, and, John Heder as, Alpha 5, and no one recognizable or known as the actual Power Rangers.
But isn't that how it's always been with the Power Rangers, though?
Yeah. But...
I mean, you're really watching them to... Not necessarily for when they're not the Power Rangers, it's when they are the Power Rangers, so... They probably feel like we don't need to have known people for that. And they also probably need to save some money if you're having Bryan Cranston and some of these other guys in this movie.
Yeah, you're not going to get like the A-list Hollywood young talent when you casting those other people.
Right.
You're getting people who can work for scale and can fit in this costume.
Could you imagine Zac Efron as the Red Ranger? He's just...
He'll be Tommy.
Actually, that probably makes sense. Act like he knows some karate or something. So, Nathan Fillion, since he is done with Firefly, done with anything that they had, Firefly, any plans they had for anything, it's sad, but this day had to come.
Those people need to move on. Firefly was good back 13 years ago, or whenever the hell it came out.
It's like you got a show, a movie, that's it. Be done with it, people.
When did it come out? It came out, 2002. So it's been 14 years now. The Browncoats need to let it die.
They're not going to. They'll keep talking about it and wishing and hoping. The Rock revealed one of the first Jumanji cast photos. Of course, it's himself, Jack Black, Karen Gillan, and Kevin Hart being in it, which that cast seems like it's going to be really awesome. Karen Gillan, of course, is wearing an outfit that is kind of skimpy, but there's apparently a reason why she's doing it, and people, of course, are just jumping at the fact that she's wearing something skimpy. So,
well, I sent you the picture, and I think I posted it on Facebook. She looks almost like the outfit is almost exactly like Lara Croft's or from Tomb Raider.
Right.
And second of all, you don't nothing against her as her acting, because I think she is a good actress, but you don't kind of cast Karen Gillan if you're not going to show her off a little.
Well, they didn't do it in Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's true, but they did it in everything else.
If they found a way to make her unattractive in the Guardians of the Galaxy, they found the way. but
I recently rewatched Doctor Who season 6 and 7, series season 6 and 7. Yeah, and she's in a short skirt 95% of every episode, or 95% of the show.
Right.
And it's they know what they're doing. They're not dumb. And I don't think she is either. So
right, but I think you can get away with that when, and we don't know. I mean, we don't know what the context of this is. That's why sometimes
I think I read a plot synopsis, and who knows if it's actually correct or not. But it's 4 kids are transported to the jungle, and The Rock and everyone is who they become, their actual avatar in the game. So yeah, that sense, it kind of makes sense for her character. But also, even if they don't explain it at all, it's still passable jungle outfit.
Well, and not to mention that, too, with the Doctor Who, it's she's obviously a smart character in that show, and she is a central figure in that show, and you're not just, they talk about her loving the guy or loving the Doctor and all that kind of stuff, but, she grows throughout. It's not just about, she's not sitting there trying to, freaking seduce the Doctor.
Well, except that one episode.
Except for that one episode.
But no, it's just she's an attractive woman, obviously, and they're going to try to get an attractive woman for this role. And I mean, it's sexist, but that's kind of how Hollywood is, and that's how most of the movie going public is.
All right, that's just America in general. You don't usually see ugly people on commercials.
You don't see that they're making that 5th Underworld movie. You don't see that character running around in a muumuu or pajama pants. No.
Right.
It's wearing a liquid leather outfit, and that makes no sense. Or even Resident Evil. Most of the costumes Alice wears are dumb as shit, but somehow this is offensive, and it's
I mean, but she's a model, and they're gonna try to showcase what they can, to get people to, at the end of the day, let's not kid ourselves, sex sells, as much as you want to not talk about that in the general public sometimes, or try to empower women and forget about that, it is what it is, you know.
Speaking of
Go ahead.
that, I watched Agents of Shield. It was on Wednesday, like their new premiere,
Mm.
and I counted within 16 seconds was a shot of Daisy or Sky or whatever the fuck they're calling her now, like her ass, her like underwear clad ass was like the entire frame, and I was just like, yeah, this is why your show kind of sucks still.
Or they know that people are probably watching just for that, so it's like, let's get some sex in here to maybe get some people to pay attention. But
Yeah, it's such a weird double standard because like she gets attacked for her outfit on Jumanji 2, and it's like there's examples of this almost everywhere. Like
right,
either like I mean it's wrong, but still.
that's on. I mean, like that's probably a kid friendly movie, and we're talking about a show that's on ABC. And we're not even talking about like stuff when you get to like HBO or whatever, what they have people wear sometimes. So getting to the final thing here with the games that are, we have a really nice slate of games coming out. It says Monday. It's weird because normally games come out on Tuesdays. So, it is for. You have Forza Horizon 3, which if you pre-ordered some kind of special edition, you got it like 4 days earlier.
Yeah, that was last week, so this is the actual release date.
You've also got FIFA 17 coming out, which of course we talked about here.
They canceled that pre-order, by the way.
Oh, those bastards. That sucks. Like they should have just let you have it. You had it for that long. Like, wow.
Yeah.
XCOM 2 coming to consoles this Tuesday. Hitman Episode 5. Darkest Dungeon also coming to consoles. And you get Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirits, and Fleshy Souls. I will be reviewing that game. I have to wait. And I'll be probably getting it in Texas and playing some of it on the plane ride back. And there's also there's still these games for Shantae. Shantae is still having games come out for all systems. The Half Genie Hero as well.
You mock that game, but I actually hear like that Shantae series is not bad.
I agree. I hear things as well, especially like the 3DS version or whatever, but I just think it's funny.
I think there was like a Steam version of one of them, and it's just a 2D platformer, and it's like that's fine because there's not that many of those anymore. So
right.
You forgot about the game of the year though.
What is that?
The top game I put on there, Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice.
Oh boy, I was trying to forget that game's coming out. My God, why?
Because Sega hates us. And
Sonic. Yeah, when this thing bombs, and they're sitting there still figuring out what do we do with Sonic. Just stop making games for Sonic for a while.
No, because we got 2 coming out next year, so...
Oh.
Got that Sonic Mania and Sonic Generations too.
Those actually, I feel like I should be excited about.
I actually am more interested in Sonic Generations 2 than Sonic Mania. Like, they just... After Sonic 4, they have no cachet with, like, 2D Sonic games. Like, they just can't make them correctly anymore.
Right. Don't blame me there. Alright. So, that's pretty much it. We won't have a show until I get back from Texas because it's going to be very hard for me to record anything. I'm going to have to be inside of a car doing it on the phone. Because, number one, last I was there, my dad's Wi-Fi sucks. And also, I don't have a room there. So I'd be like in the middle of the living room, talking loudly at 2 in the morning. I'd probably... would be getting yelled at. So, and my dad is not one of those like my family here that understand what I'm doing and they're respectful. My dad's one of those, he doesn't give a shit, and he will just yell at me while we're recording, which would, that would be some great stuff that you guys would want to hear. But
Special guest star, your dad.
yeah, my dad possibly also having had a few, which would even be better. So, what was your top 8 this week?
Well, tomorrow it'll be or tonight, actually, today, really. Top 8 comic book games in general.
Well, that should be fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the comments.
Last week it was like top 8 team-based games, so.
There you go. I had to miss the top 5 this week. Next week I will get back at it. And until we meet again, probably on Saturday when I get back, we will enjoy your games, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.